Hello once again, Mustang football fans, and welcome to another edition of the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One, Marshall Local Cable Access, and online at SMSUmustangs.com. I'm your host, Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at SMSU, and we're going to talk about a Mustang victory, an exciting one this past Saturday against Winona State University. Mustangs win in overtime, 51-44. Lots to talk about in the contest. We'll take a look at the highlights, and we'll preview this week's game versus Concordia St. Paul. And joining us, as always, across from me is the head coach, Cory Sauter, as the Mustangs win their second thrilling ball game in a row, 51-44, this time in overtime against the Warriors. And Coach, we've got lots to look at, a lot of highlights, exciting contest, and it's just kind of the norm for this Mustang football team. We've not had many blowouts at all this year, and the second straight game where the Mustangs end it basically on a interception on the defensive side, and overall, what a great win for this program to beat a very good team like Winona State.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I mean, we were pretty pumped after that win. I mean, Winona's a very, very good football program, one of the upper echelon teams in the Northern Sun year in and year out, and you know, it was such a great feeling coming off that field with the victory, and really seeing our guys storm the field and just feeling that excitement. You know, we talk about it all year long, but just all the work that goes into just a game, let alone a season, and just fun for that, and the 15 seniors. You know, that's, I mean, how are you going to replicate that? You know, ending your last game at the Regional Event Center with that type of memory, and so I tell you what, we're very excited going down into our final two games of the regular season, and I know we're excited to get back to work.
Yeah, we saw in this contest again, all phases of the game had to be strong to get a victory, offense, defense, and special teams. It didn't start out very well. At the opening kickoff, the Warriors took down to the 1 yard line, and one play in, you're down 6-0 after a blocked PAT by your squad, and that showed an example too, you know, blocking that PAT, which turned out to be a big point, and obviously we missed a field goal. They missed a couple of kicks as well, but overall you got to see all of it, all phases again, and as you mentioned, great for the seniors, but we saw a lot of different guys step up and make some plays that, you know, giving some opportunities, are doing what they need to do to keep playing.
Right, and that's the fun part about football is, you know, just so many weird and wacky things can happen on any given play, and you just never know which one's going to be the one that could help you or hurt you, and we made our share of plays. You know, we knew going in the game that just playing toe-to-toe with Winona, I mean, that was a tough task. We needed to get something to go our way, and we were able to get the touchdown defensively when Flood was able to pick up that ball and, you know, stayed in bounds. Everything just kind of worked itself out. We ended up getting that touchdown. But that was one of those big moments in the game that you know, we were struggling a little bit, you know, moving the football, and that was kind of the catalyst. And then, you know, immediately right after that, going for two and tying it up, and so it was just one of those moments. I think you can almost feel like, well, maybe we do have a shot at playing with these guys. And you know, the most encouraging thing was the fact that, you know, in that first half we weren't really in rhythm. We weren't clicking on offense. We weren't clicking on defense. You could tell in our opening kickoff coverage, we weren't clicking on that phase either. And despite all of those things going against us, we were within range, and we were getting the ball right away in the second half. And so it kind of just, we were in the game long enough where our kids, you know what, we can maybe win this thing. And anytime you give a team hope, you know, you've got a shot to win. So really, really glad for our players that they were able to just battle and really never give up, which has been the theme all season long for our guys.
Well, coming into the contest, the Mustangs averaging about 87 offensive plays per game. In this one, the Mustangs held to 71. Winona kind of reversed the tide, and they had over 100 offensive plays in the contest. Time of possession, which a lot of times can be a misleading stat, but they really dominated that, 39.5 minutes to 20.5 minutes. And despite all that, you're still able to put up 51 points, but they did a nice job of limiting your offensive snaps. And the one stat that's probably a season high, you had 5 3-and-outs on the offense. And as you talked about, that's tough. On the defensive side, our kind of offense, when we go 3-and-out, that means your drives probably only a minute to maybe a minute and a half long, and that does put the defense in some tough spots.
It does, and I guess the nice thing is, when we did have the football and when we did drive, we were able to capitalize and score points and score touchdowns. I think we were 6 of 7 in the red zone, and that was the good thing, because we couldn't have afforded to have some stalls down in that area of the field. Now on the flip end, our defense was able to keep the opposing offense out of the end zone for a few times. So when you weigh that together, but time of possession, I tell you what, that was probably the most lopsided one of the year for us. And it's definitely frustrating to be on the sideline. Our guys are waiting to get out on the field, and I'm sure that was part of their plan, is just to keep us on the sideline, keep us out of rhythm. But anytime you have 5 3 and outs, I mean that's going to hurt your team in general, not just your offense but your defense, and so that's something we just got to get corrected. We weren't able to get into a rhythm, especially early on, and part of that was us, and part of that was Winona. I mean, we knew that going into it, that they did some things that were going to present some issues, and we didn't always handle it the best way. And the good thing is we made enough big plays. A guy like Anthony Dean, 1 catch on the afternoon, and he came out early in the game with an injury and had to go back in, and ended up making a big play and scoring a touchdown. So it's one of those things where you just keep plugging away. You never know when something good's going to happen for you, and I'm really proud of just the resilient mentality of our guys.
Yeah, the Mustangs, again, 71 offensive plays, but still able to put up 530 yards of offense, 233 on the ground, 297 through the air. And we've had a first few segment here of this show, and we haven't even talked about the record that was set on Saturday, and that's junior running back Tyler Tonder, who became the NSIC single-season rushing leader. He finished with just 190 yards on the afternoon, and I joke when I say that, but he's had 4 200-yard-plus games. But a great honor for Tyler to break that in the third quarter of the 9th game of the season, and as he continues to say, just thanking that offensive line, the receivers downfield. You've mentioned it several times, but that is a team honor to have that rushing record in the books now for Southwest.
Yeah, it's a great honor, and really I know our entire offense really takes pride in that record, and hopefully we can really build upon that here in these last 2 weeks. But it does take all phases to make that thing go, and you have to have a threat of a passing game to open up the run game, and you have to have guys up front, you have to have guys in the perimeter to get the big 70-yard runs. You have to have a quarterback that has a threat to pull the ball. So when things are going well, it's almost like everyone's going to benefit from it, and it's almost like share the wealth. Everyone's going to get their piece of the pie, and fortunately Tyler's been healthy and has played at a high level, and has really been good for us. But couldn't have happened to a better guy, and we're really excited about what we can continue to accomplish here in these next couple weeks.
Yeah, Tondrum now with over 17 yards, 1708 to the official total now through 9 weeks. He also has the school's single-season rushing record of 17 touchdowns here this season through 9 games. The Mustangs, again, the victory 51-44 in overtime. And, Coach, it was a back-and-forth affair. You came back, took the lead in the fourth quarter with about 5.5 to go. You're taking a touchdown lead. Winona, just a couple of plays later, a long touchdown run. But then you come back again, and the offense just wouldn't quit. A big run by Tondrum to set you up, and had a first and goal situation, or at least deep inside that 15-yard line. You get a penalty. Probably the biggest play of the game was a 3rd and long, and Charlie Curran able to sneak out of that backfield and pick up some quality yards to get you down inside the 10 to set up a field goal opportunity, and even think about maybe to go for it, but you had to get some points, and you did that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely disappointing when we had the penalty. You can point fingers, this and that, but bottom line is we got called for a penalty, and took some points off the board with that. And so big thing for us was just to be able to regroup from that. And but trust me, there was some heavy debate whether or not to go for it on 4th down, or to kick the field goal and get the points. But as you mentioned, we felt let's kick it, let's get the points, let's see if we can get a stop defensively, and it ended up working out. But tell you what, defensively, we've had a couple weeks now where the game's on the line. I mean, their backs to the wall, and we're putting it on their shoulders, and we gave up 700 yards, and still had the win, and so that's it always goes back to the win-loss column, and so those guys can feel good about that. And but we definitely have plenty of things to work on. There's no question about that. And but it definitely was such a great feeling for those guys just to step up and make something happen.
He had a couple of plays in the fourth quarter. Winona State went for it on they had a 3rd and inches and a 4th and inches. The defense stopped it when the game was tied. And as you mentioned, the Mustangs took that 3-point lead. Winona State goes down in the final minutes to try to take the lead. They get 1st and goal, but the defense stops, forces a field goal attempt. The Warriors make it, and we tied up at 44. We go into overtime, and the Mustangs' first play, a big run by Tondrum, a 24-yard breakout, and he gets down to the 1. Charlie Kern scores a play later, and the Warriors, as you know, they would come back and get a first down. They're down inside and had 1st and goal. Big play on 1st down was a tackle for loss. They had a couple of incompletions, and then Jared Tweet with the interception to seal the victory. And you talk about the defense making that play. They had a fumble 6 as Jared Tweet knocked the ball loose, and Tyler Flood comes up with it, gets a touchdown. And for his efforts, Jared Tweet was named the NSIC Defensive Player of the Week, announced on Monday. So, but overall, just down to the end there to get a big key, and that's those overtimes. You get one big break, maybe a tackle for loss or a penalty can really make or break an offensive possession in overtime.
Yeah, especially too overtime. The coin flip. You want to win the toss so that you're playing defense right away. So you see what you have to get. Well, we're going first, and the nice thing is we're able to get a big run right away and get us going and just get, so to speak, get some momentum into halftime or into overtime, and so that I think energized really everybody, not just the offense, but just the defense as they're taking the field, knowing that all we need is a stop, and we can win this thing, and we're able to get them in a pure passing situation, and there's small holes in the red zone when you're talking obvious passing situation, and that's what we were able to do. And on that last play, we were able to flush the QB, get him out of the pocket, and by that time, guys are spattering the receivers and getting in position, and so it was just fun for those guys to just seal the deal, and get the win. And but guys definitely made plays. There's no question on the 4th down situations, 1 for 5. I mean, typically teams are going to be at least around that 50% mark, and I mean, 1 for 5 is a pretty great stat for our defense.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about some of those defensive numbers. A big day for Tate Bunkers, a senior, playing his final game at the stadium. Career high 16 tackles. He had a couple for loss, also blocked an extra point. Donovan Woods with 12 tackles, A.J. Page with 11, and then we mentioned Jared Tweet with 8 tackles, 2 for loss, an interception, a forced fumble, and Tate Bunkers really played extremely well. Had a really caused havoc in that defensive or in the backfield for Winona State, and he's just a warrior here the last few weeks, to playing through pain and knowing that this is his final season as a college football player, and he's really shown a lot of heart here in the last few weeks.
He has. I mean, he's a guy that just epitomizes what we're looking for on defense. He just lays it all on the field. I mean, there's times where you can tell he's in some pain. I mean, physical pain. His shoulders has had some issues, and he's worked through that. And he's a guy that he doesn't want to leave the field. He wants to stay on the field, and we're very fortunate for his toughness, because he definitely makes things go on that side of the football, and along with his teammates and AJ and Levso and all those guys. I mean, they really are playing pretty well right now, and we need those guys to continue that here as we finish up 2013.
Well, again, as you would expect, with a big overtime victory, another 51-point outburst by the Mustangs. There's lots of highlights, and let's take a look at the film from last Saturday's game at the Regional Event Center as the Mustangs and the Warriors. SMSU looking for the first win over Winona since 2008. We open up here in the first half and first quarter, big 3rd down 8 conversion for the Mustangs.
This happened after Anthony Dean was injured, and Olsen steps in and catches a nice screen pass. Excellent blocks by the receivers, and that's what really springs everything. We've got great angles. He catches the football first, and you have to be fearless when you run these types of plays, because you never know if you're going to get hit in the mouth coming across the field.
Mustangs trailed 13-0 at the time, and then just a couple of plays later, Condon 17-yard touchdown reception.
New little wrinkle in our offense. We ran a middle screen to our tight end and splits the defenders and gets a score.
So the Mustangs trail 13-7 following that touchdown, and here's a sack by Blake Pennick on Jack Olson.
Yep, here he blitzes off the right side of your screen and really just comes untouched and finishes the deal with the sack. It was a good play.
Go back on the offensive side, and on a 4th and 7, Mustangs 17-yard pass to Jordan Cross.
Yeah, we're kind of in that weird area where you really can't kick a field goal, don't want to punt, and so we went for it. Got good one-on-one situation with the corner, good protection, 7-man protection, able to convert.
And the Mustangs move ball inside the 10-yard line, and capping off the 69-yard drive was Tyler Tondam, 3-yard burst.
Nice thing is our offense moves quickly. They get up to the line of scrimmage. We've been very efficient, really inside the 5-yard line and getting at least a crease for Tyler, and he's strong enough back where he's going to make a guy miss or break a tackle.
Game is tied at 13. Back on the defense, Jake Lutzow with a sack. Good to see Jake back in after missing some time this year with an injury.
Yeah, just a gutsy effort by him as well. He's not 100%, but he definitely makes up for it with just his effort and toughness, and it's good to see him back on the field.
Well, the Mustangs trail 20-19, but quickly come right back, or trail by 20-13, and here's a big touchdown by Anthony Dean.
Yeah, here's a play that should have been probably a 6-yard gain and turns into a 68-yard gain. And nice thing about Dean is anytime he catches the football, he is a threat to go the distance, and a great example of that right there.
And again, 68-yard pass. The Mustangs would have missed the extra point to trail by 1, but you're right. Look at this individual effort. Should have been down by about 5-6 guys.
Yep. And then once he gets in the open, I mean, he's a guy that can run. He's a 4-4 guy, and so we like to get him in a stride and let him run.
So following that touchdown, the Mustangs trailed 20-19. As you mentioned, Winona State came back and scored, and Mustangs are trailing at the half, 27-19. Coach, and as you mentioned, you knew you were going to get the ball to start the second half, but I'm sure there was a lot of some adjustments in talking because, as you mentioned, the offense struggled at times, and give a lot of credit to Winona State for flustering us in that first 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, Winona's a good team, and whenever you just give them, opportunities to take advantage of, they're going to do that. They're just that good. And you look at the opening kickoff, you look at some of their scoring drives, 2nd and 20s, and they're converting those. So we weren't playing well on defense, we weren't playing well in special teams, we weren't playing extremely well in offense. Things weren't really going our way, and that was the biggest message we could tell our team is, we haven't played well at all, and we're right in this thing. So at some point, something's going to change for us. Something's going to happen for us that's going to get us back into it, and sure enough, we were able to do that in the second half. But I really felt like our guys, sensed that we can make something happen here in the second half. But it was going to be a dogfight, and you just got to play. You got to play another half of football, and there was 30 minutes to be played.
Yeah, of course, the Mustangs got the ball first in the second half, had to punt after just 3 plays, but as Coach mentioned, somebody had to step up, and that was the defense. And let's take a look at the second half highlights. Again, the Mustangs trailing at the half 27-19, and here was the fumble and the return for a touchdown.
Yep, great hit here. Just lays them out, and then ball stays in bounds, which is pretty nice, and then Flood's right there to pick it up and dive for the pylon, and what a great way for us to get back in the ball game, and we needed that, and it was a spark.
Mustangs trail by 2 after the touchdown. You go for 2, and Kern improvises and ties the ball game up.
Yeah, he does a great job here. He actually had the receivers open to the right, but he scrambles here to his left and uses his athletic ability to make a guy miss and dives it in and ties the game up.
So the game is tied at 27, and we go back now to offense, and continuing. Kern finds Brett Wickett for a big gain.
Yep, great protection. Nice job by Wickett just finding the football. He's kind of had trouble seeing it and adjust to the throw, but great position with the pass. I mean, it's really the only spot he could put it, and made a big conversion.
Mustangs trail by 7 on this drive, but tied up on the Kern touchdown.
Yep, big surge up front, and offensive line did really a nice job all afternoon, just getting some good push up front, and what a great way to cap off the drive.
Here's the stop by the Mustang defense in their own 38 on a 4th and short.
Huge stop. I mean, you can't draw these things up. I mean, it was literally 4th and 6 inches probably, and we were giving up long yardage 3rd downs, and all of a sudden now we get a 4th and inches stop, and these are just those momentum, game-changing plays that ultimately help you win the ball game.
So the Mustangs take advantage of it, go down and take the lead. Tondrum with the touchdown run here.
Yep, he muscles his way in, and anytime you leave him one-on-one with somebody, he's going to win a lot of those battles.
So the Mustangs take the lead, and then here's Tondrum breaking free after the game tied up by Winona State.
And again, we use him so much that again, he wasn't fresh at this point, and I think if his legs are fresh, he's going to be scoring on this play. But again, we're very happy to see him running down that sidelines and getting us in position to score.
So that gives the Mustangs a good position to take the lead. Again, not going for it, take the point. So the Mustangs, Lance Schuweiler drills a 22-yarder.
Yeah, we had that touchdown negated by a holding call, and we had to settle for the field goal. But I tell you what, that was a big field goal for us. Those aren't automatic, and we want to make sure that at least put ourselves in position to win.
Warriors going for the lead here, 3rd and goal. Donovan Woods knocks it away.
Big opportunity for us because it was an obvious passing situation. They didn't have any timeouts at the time, and so we knew they had to throw one up, and that gives your defense the advantage.
So we go to overtime, 44-44 the score. First play of overtime, Tondrum nearly takes it to the house.
Well, it's nice to make a statement on your first play in overtime, and we're just so close to scoring. But the nice thing is, we're able to cap it off. But just a great effort by everybody, knowing that overtime it's a new ball game, and everyone has hope. And then we were able to get back into our quarterback sneak. Took a couple efforts to get in, but ultimately he was able to cross the line.
That gives the Mustangs a 7-point lead following the PAT. They finally let the Mustangs snap, and there's Kern to plow across. So the Mustangs lead 51-44. And now we go back on defense, and this is the big play here on 4th and goal.
Yeah, we can see here, quarterback gets flushed to his right, tries to hit his tight end coming across, and tweets right there. He sees the quarterback, what he's looking at, and steps in front of it, and what a great play. And this is the best part, just seeing our guys running out to the field. What a rush it was for not only our players but our fans and everybody in Marshall. It was a neat afternoon for everybody.
That was, and again, as you show, the Mustangs excited with the victory, and they should be beating Winona State first time since 2008 and just the 3rd time since 1993, a team that's made the playoffs several times and has been one of the top programs in the conference, and a statement win for the Mustangs to get back over 500 now, 5-4 and 3-2 in the conference. Mustangs now tied for 4th place in the NSIC standings, and Coach doesn't need to talk about it because it's a 1-week season right now again. Take it week by week, but puts the Mustangs in a position to continue to move up the conference standings, and with some help here and some wins, a chance for the Mustangs to possibly play in the Mineral Water Bowl. But Coach, I know that's not something you're looking forward to. You just got to look at this game versus Concordia at the Metrodome this Saturday, and that's what we got to talk about next. As the Mustangs play at Concordia St. Paul because of their field situation, and they put up their bubble. They moved the game to the Metrodome, so a great opportunity for you guys to play, and so guys that maybe having a chance to play in an NFL stadium, they get to do that, but more importantly, a big game to just go 1-0 this week and get that 6th victory.
Yeah, it'll be big for us. I mean, just a lot of reasons. I mean, we say it every week. It's another ball game. We've got to be up for it. Probably is going to be our biggest challenge of any week this season because we're coming off, in my opinion, probably our biggest win since I've been here. And so we haven't been in this position before, so it's not like our players know what it's like, to be in this spot. So we've got to help them through this. We've got to make sure that they're focused, they're hungry, they're ready to play. I have no doubts that we will be. We'll be ready. I mean, there's no question there. But it'll just be a challenge. It just always is. Anytime you come off a big win, you've got to get your guys regrouped, refocused, and that's been our approach really all year because we've been been in tight ball games that we've lost. We've been in tight ball games that we've won. We've been in blowout games that we lost, blowout games that we've won.
Yep.
We've kind of seen everything, and that's just the way we've operated. Is just kind of stay at that even keel, play our style of football, and if we play hard and long enough, I think we can win most of those tight ball games.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we've had some tight ball games that we've lost, and the guys have always rebounded back and going on the road and going to Wayne and winning, going to Upper Iowa and winning. And again, it's the same type of thing now. You can't get too high because we can get a chance to get it going, and great opportunity. Mustangs with the win would get 6 victories, would be just the 9th winning season in program history. So much riding on this ball game, but a chance to play against the Golden Bears. And Coach, they're a team that has had some big wins this year too. I mean, they went to Bemidji State and won a game. They won some tight ones, beating Moorhead in the last minute. A very good defense, some of the best defensive players we're going to face, an NFL prospect on their defensive line, and every time we play them, very similar to Upper Iowa, it seems games go down to the wire, and it should be a big challenge for our guys on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, no, they're a dangerous team, and they've got some very talented individuals that will catch your attention in a hurry. If you're fortunate enough to go to the game, you'll be able to see one of the better defensive ends in the Northern Sun, and will be an NFL prospect. He's 6'6", 285 pounds, and it's one of those guys that's kind of like, wow, this guy is a specimen. And so we're going to have some answers as every other game, and but this means a lot to everybody. It really does, and we're going to have to come up with a great game plan. We're going to have to practice extremely well all week, and then we're going to ultimately have to go out and execute what we've planned. And when we do that, when we put all those things together, that's when we put our best foot forward and we put ourselves in position to win. And so I think we'll respond pretty well. I think our guys are mature enough. I think we've got good leadership with our seniors, and now those younger guys are starting to figure things out as well. And so those juniors really aren't juniors anymore, and those sophomores aren't sophomores anymore. They're really a year older, so they have no excuses not to be ready to play. And so we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, again, the start time an hour later than on the original schedule. 2 o'clock, the kickoff at the Metrodome against Concordia St. Paul, the 10th game of the season for the Mustangs. They'll wrap up the season the following Saturday at Augustana, wrap up the regular season at Augustana on the 16th of November. So, again, the Mustangs at the Metrodome Saturday, 2 o'clock versus the Golden Bears of Concordia St. Paul. For the head coach, Cory Sauter, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Cory Sauter Show. Until next time, go Mustangs.